It is day 31. This is actually day 30 for me. As you can see, the sun's rising in the east, and Wilma's rooftop's behind me. I'm blocking part of a street. I'm done for the day. No, I'm done for the morning. I wish I could say that. No, I can't say that. I got 2 more jobs to do this morning, and I've got hours before I'm supposed to go. I think I'm going to go get me some breakfast here in a minute, and then go park in that parking lot of the first place, which is a small convenience store, and hopefully they'll let me get in and do it early, so I can just get on with this stuff, because I am tired. But that's not what we're here for. We are here to celebrate 31 days, 31 questions of RPGaday for the RPG Brigade, and for August of 2018. The question being is, share why you take part in RPGaday. Well, now, everybody's got their own reasons and opinions. Why? Well, let's be blunt. It added 31 more videos to my collective YouTube account. I now have excess of 330 videos. Over 90 of them are because of RPG Brigade projects, right? And I'm sure many of you got a lot more than I do. Some of you probably delete them, some of them you keep them, I don't know. I also participated because this is part of the community that I want to be involved in. I want to be involved in the gaming community. There's a lot of interesting people here. I enjoy the rebuttals and the communications and the occasional vids. I'm sad to see that I don't see as many from some of the ones I were seeing more of last year than this year. I don't know if that's because maybe they blocked me and I can't see that they posted it anymore, or because their lives are so busy and so filled that they don't have the time to share like they would like to. And I would like to think that's probably more true than not. I have the advantage of my job being so crazy and the hours being so all over the place that it gives me a lot of moments of free time, like the current situation, to devote to things like this. It is an advantage or a perk to this job. Not always a good one, but it is. You know, a third reason I decided I would participate was the same reason I chose to participate last year. I truly enjoy the gaming experience, the role-playing game, the tabletop gaming experience, and I like to share. I want to share what I know and what I don't know. I want to embrace what other people know. I want to learn new stuff. I want to feel your experiences through your videos. And it only seems fair to share. You know, and as it's been pointed out, you know, perhaps I share a little too much of my personal life and my personal situation and things like that. But you know what? That's just me. I have always been a bit too honest for my own good. I wear a lot of emotions on my sleeve, which makes my sleeve pretty sloppy and wrinkled, as my wife will occasionally grumble about. But I also embrace the variety and the differences that every one of you bring to this table. This huge social collective gaming table that we share via these videos, via the Brigade channel, via other channels that are similar to it, and via the YouTube experience. Perhaps that's a bit naive or a bit over the top in my view of things. It is what it is. That said, I want to bring out a couple other commentaries. This kind of question, this wrapping up of the year's challenge, kind of lends itself to having an open platform or an open soapbox, if you will. As an old hat, as somebody who's been in this since the mid-70s, I have some long views on games in general. But one of the things just recently that reminded me of just how far this game hobby of ours has come. I was watching an old TV cartoon series briefly on YouTube, just bits and pieces of it from my childhood, and I think, I would really always wanted to role play, always wanted to have a role playing game based on that cartoon series. And I just on a lark Googled G.I. Joe, the G.I. Joe RPG, and I was surprised. And I don't know why I was surprised, because the sheer amount of variety of independents and specialists and big name companies and little name companies and no name companies and just individuals who said, I too want to play something in that genre. What would you do? And so we have such a huge variety of opportunities now compared to what we did years and years ago. So not only is there a G.I. Joe role-playing game, I was able to download the core book rules PDF for free. There's a whole slew of G.I. Joe related source books or splat books or what have you. Some of them are available through the RPG, or was it Drive-Through RPG or whatever. Some of them actually look like booklets that you can get and buy physical books of this game, which just goes to show there's so many games out there that I can't even begin to touch on a percentage of those games. I'll never collect a tenth of those games. I'll never play a quarter tenth of those games. There's just not enough time in the day. There's not enough time left in my life to try to play catch up. And I don't think anybody can truly do that. And we're much further along than we were. So it's real easy today to say, look, if you want to play, you want a game, and you don't like this particular game system or that particular genre or this particular game world or game view, all you have to do is look and search. And you're going to more likely than not, find something that will prick your interest, draw your attention, and make you want to involve yourself in this hobby even more. And I think that's an awesome and beautiful thing. And I really truly am all inspired to understand that's just where we've come. I mean, I can say that I'm a little disappointed when I walk into what passes for my local gaming store, because first off, nothing to knock JCD and Hobby, or Mayhem Comics for that matter. They lack something that old Ivor's Dungeon had, and that's partly because of my youth at the time. It was so fresh and new to me, and there was just so many horizons and so many unexplored possibilities. And yet they're still out there. But when I walk into the more modern game store, you don't see all this plethora of different games, because now they're mostly available on the internet or via the internet or through internet-based platforms such as eBay and Amazon. So you don't have that hands-on approach. When I used to go once a week, without fail, sometimes twice a week, to Ivor's Dungeon, and just to spend a couple hours wandering through the store, looking at the newest things to come out, the newest game systems, the newest additions to existing game systems. And it's much harder to do that electronically than it is in person. You miss something. I guess it's a payout or a consequence of having such a huge variety of game systems to be available, that something has to give. So the fact that there's pretty much a game system for just about anything you can envision, and if there's not, I'm sure there's somebody out there someplace who's thinking about it and trying to make one of their own. It's a glorious thing. And I'm grateful and to have been able to participate. I appreciate the handful of people who have commented and who have viewed my videos. I can look at the numbers and tell you it's not something. We do these videos for a very tiny audience, and in part we do it for ourselves. But I also know that 10 years from now, or maybe 100 years from now, these things will still be floating around, and somebody somewhere will Google something, or whatever the equivalent will be in 100 years, and they'll find my opinions and my views of this beautiful thing that we share. So, until next year, game on.